Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Baruch Thumb to all the brothers of Israel. Shalom Yahweh Shamar Ilathah by Hashem Yahweh Shai to the sisters. This is the ISUPK Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the one and only Commanding General Yahana. And this is the Tuesday Las Vegas Brotherhood class. You understand? I am Priest and Officer Rock, and today we're going to be doing our part 2 of interracial marriage being against the Bible. You understand? The last time we had the class, we had started it off, did a couple of precepts in. We're going to pick up from where we left off. You understand? Before we get into that, just like we ask in every single class, in all ISUPK classes, make sure that you like and share the class. You understand? It's important that we get this word to the four corners of the earth. You understand? There's a brother or a sister out there that is trying to turn their life around for the better. And quite frankly, as a so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American man or woman, the only way that we can truly turn our lives around for the better is by coming back to the Most High God and serving Him. You understand? And obeying His law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? So give me a second to do that for myself, and then we'll get into it. And also, if there's anybody online that has a question, be sure to post your question online in the chat. I will answer it to the best of my ability scripturally. If I'm unable to do so myself, I will ask a mightier man than myself for the answer. You understand? We are not the Christian church where we're going to say a bunch of things that make you feel good, sounds good, or whatever. We are about the truth and nothing but the truth. So with that, you understand, we can get you the answer. I can get you the answer. But you understand, I might have to go to somebody above myself. You understand? All right. So we're gonna start off at the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 21. That's what we'll be starting off at. One second. So lucky. Okay. So obviously, as I said before, the title is that interracial marriage goes against the Bible. You understand? Which means that the Most High God has never, in all throughout time, been with us having interracial marriages, us mixing with other people. You understand? So that's what we're going to be going over today in class, for y'all to understand that it is against the Most High God and the Bible for you to be wanting to sleep and lay down with these heathen nations. You understand? If they are not a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, and you are laying with them, you will turn the Most High God to wrath. Go ahead and read that when you got it, Baba Kashai.
God. It's the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 21.
Uh-huh.
And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam.
Uh-huh.
And he slept.
Now, we have to know we have to understand the context of what this sleep is, because you know what, the Christian church has taught everybody that, the Most High gave an anesthetic, or however you say the word, some sleeping medicine to Adam so that he can, do what the rest of this verse is about to say. And so go ahead and read the rest of it.
And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof.
Now, this is my question for y'all, all right? This is the second chapter of Genesis. In the first book of Genesis, or the first chapter of Genesis, did it or did it not just go over on how the Most High had created all of life in a matter of 6 days? Now, chapter 2 is on the 7th day, just so y'all track it. All right. But in that first chapter, the Most High created all the trees, separated, the great waters of the, above the firmament, and separated it from the water that's here on earth. You understand? Created all the fish, the fowl, every living thing that's on, actually just everything, period, that you see. You understand? The Most High God had created that. So now my question to y'all is, do y'all really think that the Most High had to grab Adam and then put him to sleep, then pull out a rib, like, and I'm saying literal sleep, and pull out a rib for him to be able to create a woman? It makes no doggone sense, because did he do that with all the whales, where he only made male whales and then put one to sleep and then pull out a rib, and now you got a female whale, and then now they're repopulating the earth with that species of whale? It makes no doggone sense.
Right.
You understand? I want to see if there's anyone who can tell me what that sleep actually was, though, in the context of this verse. Well, we give them a few minutes, a few seconds. Go ahead and read verse 22, Baba Kashab.
And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man, made he a woman, and brought her unto the man.
So that rib, you understand, we'll get into it. Actually, no, we'll just go over it right now. That rib is basically just another word for Adam's wife. It's just another word, Salaki, for a wife. Salaki. It's another word for wife. You understand? It's just that rib was just the first and the last woman that Adam would deal with. You understand? I see that there's nobody posting. You want to give it a shot, sir? What that sleep is?
Go ahead and break it down.
So that sleep, when the Bible talks about waking up from the sleep, for it is high time that the end is near, or even in the context of this verse right here, that just lets you know that you are doing something unawares. You understand? So in other words, Adam didn't know what he was doing when he basically went and laid down with that woman. And that woman, we come to find out, is Eve. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and read on, because we're going to get more onto that, where it touches on interracial marriage. Go ahead and give me verse 23, Baba Kashad.
And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh.
Mm-hmm.
She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of men.
Now, who can tell me what the other nations were called, what the other people on the earth were called in comparison to what Adam is? Because now it just said that for Eve was taken out of man, right? So what were the other men called that were on the earth? Because mind you as well, you've read, we're not going to pull it, but Genesis 1:26, that's the sixth day. You understand? And man and woman was already created. You understand? Now, what were all those other heathen people called in reference to Adam being called a man? What was everybody else called? Anybody think they got it? All right, well, so in time, Adam and his seed. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, are you saying they were called beasts of the field?
They're called beasts of the field. You understand? And mind you as well, there's one in particular, if you continue to read on into verse 3, who is the most subtle beast of the field. You understand? That serpent in the garden. You understand? So that's the other nations were called beasts. So Eve being taken out, being a part of Adam's family, his people, being the so-called Negroes, he was taken from his family and made into his rib, or made into his wife by him going into her and having sex. You understand? That's what made her his wife. You understand? Now, there's also something else in this verse where it says, and Adam said, this is now bone of my bones. Can anybody tell me the significance of saying that? And I'll give it to y'all just for time's sake. What does your bone do aside from giving your body a skeletal structure? Go ahead.
It pretty much your bones. It holds your DNA. Is that what you're saying? Like,
I mean, it holds your DNA, but there's something in particular that your bone actually does aside from giving you a structure. So you're not just a pancake blob.
It's you said besides giving you structure.
Besides your bones giving you, the skeletal structure.
Making you be able to stand up. I'm not really sure.
Now, what your bones do, it creates new blood. So by him saying this is now bone of my bones, it's a lot deeper than just saying, okay, we are of the same bone. It's also saying that we are the same blood, because your blood comes from bone. From your bone marrow. You understand? And it continues on to say, and flesh of my flesh. So from the inside and out to the very, to the bone that creates the blood, to the outside flesh that everybody sees. This is my people. You understand? That sister that he lay with, Eve, this was his people. You understand? Genesis means beginning. So from the very beginning, the Most High God, his spirit made Adam deal with his own people, because that's what the Most High God wanted us to do in the first place. You understand? Go ahead, sir.
No, I was going to say, and two, people got to keep in mind, when you read these scriptures, you have to be taught what this is talking about. It's not something that anybody can just pick up and read. This is why the Christian church takes a lot of things in Genesis literally, and they don't understand how Black people speak when we talk. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just like you say, your bone, it creates blood or whatnot. That's what people call each other. That's my blood. You know what I'm saying? That's my blood. That's my, that's my that means family. You know
exactly.
What I'm saying? So when we speaking on bone of my bones, he's speaking in terms of just no different than you saying that's my blood.
Exactly.
We just don't use that. That was an ancient way of saying it. You know what I'm saying? It's bone of my bone, bro. But the Christian church is so wicked and so naive that they'll teach you that Adam literally had a rib taken out of his body. You understand? And created a woman from a bone, basically some bone transplant.
Right.
From one rib came a woman, just scientifically or magically grew out of the ground. You know what I'm saying? Or the Most High took a rib and then just went off somewhere, and then all of a sudden he came back with that one rib, and it became a woman.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's what makes people not want to understand the Bible, because they can't fathom something like that, because it's, to them, I wouldn't want to understand it either. If I had to start thinking like, well, damn, how the hell did you make a woman from somebody's rib? Now you're like, oh, well, that was the Lord God back in those days. Giants and all type of things lived on the earth, so they were making people from bones. You know what I'm saying? So that's what gives it that unrealistic.
That's sci-fi touch to it. That's like
that magical aspect of it. When actually it's just the terminology that they're using to describe the events that happen is more poetic. You understand?
Right.
It's more slang.
Kind, exactly.
Someone speaking about an event in which someone who was a part of Adam's family, you know what I'm saying, his lineage, his nation, you know what I mean? Because there were many nations on the earth, and that the Most High chose a woman from his family. You understand? That doesn't get specific on what side of the family, but this also gives you hindsight into, you know what I'm saying, Adam having parents and so forth. You know what I mean? That's, you know, another breakdown another time. But I thought I'd bring that up.
No, the water for that. So now we're actually gonna get a little bit more on the bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. So we're gonna drop Genesis 2 and 21. We're gonna go to Genesis 29 and 13, Baba Kashab. You understand? We're gonna, cause see, what the Lord taught us, that He told us for us to even to learn in the first place is that we're supposed to read a little, hear a little, there a little. You understand? And that's actually what helps you understand the context. You understand? Go ahead and read that what you got when you got it, Baba Kashab.
You said Genesis 29:13.
Kind of what kind, sir?
All right. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 29, verse 13.
Uh-huh.
And it came to pass, when Laban heard the tidings of Jacob, his sister's son, that he ran to meet him and embraced him and kissed him and brought him to his house. And he told Laban all these things.
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
Verse 14. And Laban said to him, surely thou art my bone and my flesh.
Now, who is he saying that to? Laban is saying that to Jacob. You understand? And he's saying that you are my bone and of my flesh. Right? So he's saying that you are my family. That's why anytime that you had a family gathering, right? Of course, you don't go, oh, as soon as you see your cousin, you know, oh, you know, surely you are my blood. Surely you are my cousin. Surely you are my family. But you damn near have that same exact excitement that Laban had when he saw Jacob, when you see your cousin, you know, that one particular cousin or family member, when you go, you know, when y'all do the family get-togethers and whatnot, you know, you go and embrace each other, you know, you might kiss him or, you know, and when it says kiss, it ain't, you know, actual, you know, lips touching. You understand? A kiss is something as simple as a salute. You understand? Just like how we salute each other in the school, we just don't call it kiss. You understand? You had something, sir?
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, like, you know, even with that, what LeBron saying, like, it's just like you see another black person and you like, man, that's my people. You know
right. Right.
We looking at it like, even though we know we're not close relatives in that aspect of, you know, every black person is your cousin, you know what I mean? But to an extent, we family, we all family. So
right.
He recognized him as being his family, his people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Based on from flesh and blood. Meaning that's why it's important. They wouldn't be mentioned if it wasn't important.
Right. Exactly.
Had it not been his people, I'm, you know, almost sure it would have been an issue.
Right.
He probably wouldn't have greeted him. You know, that's why they break down, you know what I'm saying, that how you know that interaction was, you know what I'm saying, an excitement of, you know, an embrace, a warm embrace. Not
right.
Like you said, a kiss, not the kiss that the white man has taught us what a kiss is between a man and a woman, kissing on the lips and things like that, or on the cheek or whatever. But, you know, warm embrace. You know what I'm saying? And that's because of them being the same people. You know what I'm saying?
No, right. And finish that verse, Baba Kashab. And he abode.
And he abode with him the space of a month.
And Jacob stayed with Laban for a time of about a month. So like it, my tongue all twisted up. And Jacob stayed with Laban for about a month. You understand? And that right there, not only is that showing you that Laban recognized the fact that Jacob was his people, but he also showed him that brotherly love. You understand? Because that's what you do. In fact, that's what we all do in the ISUPK. You ask, you know, any brother or sister that's in the school, you understand? Like, hey, me and Bakar, we've housed numerous brothers, that were just coming, passing through in Vegas to go to a cookout or what have you, and needed a place to crash. You understand? And you stay as long as you need to. You understand? All right. Because at the end of the day, all the brothers and sisters in the ISUPK, that is the bone of my bone. They are the flesh of my flesh. You understand?
That's
Those
right.
are my people. That is my blood. You understand? Let's drop that. Go to Isaiah 29 and 10. We're going to kind of talk about now that the sleep portion that we have read in Genesis 2 and 21. Baba Gishad. The 29 and 10. Go ahead and read that when you got it.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 29, verse 10.
Uh-huh.
For the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep.
Poured out a spirit of deep sleep. What you got to know is the Most High did the same thing with Adam. That spirit was the same spirit. You understand? Now, it was from Isaiah 29 and 10 and in Genesis 2 and 21 with Adam, it's two different purposes of what the sleep is, but it's still the same sleep. You understand? Go ahead and continue to read. You to walk. Yeah, you got to kind of screw on the side. Yeah, it's kind of janky. To what? The what? The what?
I am the bar. You said Salaki. Keep reading.
Yeah, kind of okay.
Verse 11. Salaki. I'm gonna start from the top.
Yeah.
For the Lord hath this is the book of Isaiah 29 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
For the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep, and have closed your eyes, the prophets and your rulers. Mm-hmm. The seers have he covered.
Now, up until 1969, when the ISUPK was founded, you understand, we had that spirit of deep sleep on all Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You understand? We had nobody with open eyes. He had all of our eyes closed. How do you know? What am I referring to? What was, how I want to ask this. What was keeping our eyes closed prior to 1969? And mind you as well, it's still an issue that's going on today. You understand? The only difference is from prior to 1969 and 1969 to today, we have rulers and prophets having their eyes open and coming out of that deep sleep. You understand? But what was that deep sleep prior to 1969, or even the brothers and our sisters that are still asleep today? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the Christian church.
Christianity, like, I mean, hell.
Like if I may, all religions, the Christian church, the Muslim mosque, the goddamn Pan-African movement.
God.
You know what I'm saying? What else?
Anything that teaches you to love another nation aside from your own nation. You understand? Because quite frankly, the only way that you learn how to love yourself and your people, Black, Hispanic, and Native American man and woman, is by you having your eyes open to the truth about the Bible and the truth about the one and only living God. You understand? Because other than that, what are you doing? You're on the street corners, asleep, selling drugs to your own people, killing your own people, being a homosexual. You understand? Being part of the border patrol that's putting your Hispanic brothers and sisters in cages at the border. You understand? That all comes from the deep sleep that is on our people. And I pray that y'all understand that what we're doing in the ISUPK is waking up our brothers and sisters out of that sleep so that they can see this truth for themselves. You understand? Let's see. Was that all I wanted? Yeah, kinds. So we're going to drop that. And then we're going to go to the book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 3.
I mean, you could read 11. It'll give more into what you were just saying. 11?
Okay, let's see. Oh, yeah. Con, let's go ahead and read that.
You know what I mean? To get into
the
Christian church. Verse 11. And the vision of all is become unto you as the words of a book that is sealed, which men deliver to one that is learned, saying, read this, I pray thee. And he said, I cannot, for it is sealed.
You understand? Just like what the officer, I had just pointed out, what was going on, with what I was saying. There was visions that were given in 1969. There was the beginning of an awakening in 1969. You understand? Where the brothers started to see, this seal is being broken off of this book, and the book is the Bible. You understand? What the seal is basically a metaphor for the fact that the truth and all the many wonders of the Bible was not to be understood. But that seal is now broken, because before, from the time of, even before slavery, because you got to think about in Europe, when, with the European Crusades and whatnot, what they were doing with the Crusade battles. That's what they're called.
I think they were called the
Christian Crusades, right? Yeah. They weren't giving recognition to who that Bible actually was for. And how do you know? Because they were still having interracial marriages, because they were still having too close of relations and dealings with the other nations, whom of which they were not to be doing. You understand? You had something?
Go ahead. Sorry, I was you, man.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna just say too, like this what makes these scriptures that you're bringing out, what you're saying, so heavy is, the fact that when you look at the Bible, many people, especially when we breaking down these scriptures, people don't want to hear it.
Right.
That's when it's weird. It's so weird because people will say they're Christians. They'll go to church. They'll listen to the Christian pastor talk about, give his motivational speeches and use the scriptures that he used to get them riled up and be able to go, get some money to bring to the church.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes down to the truth of the Bible,
mm-hmm.
and which this verse is talking about, what was sealed was the truth of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I just think of our lives, and I don't know about you, but before, when I was in Christianity, I didn't know what the hell these books meant. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, no, that was me as well.
Kings and the book of Judges and
right.
reading all these big words that you can't understand and
mm-hmm.
names. I don't know what that meant for me. You know what I'm saying?
No, right.
You know what I mean? It had no purpose. So that deep sleep is that what you said was that understanding.
Right.
You understand? Not being able to understand what even just that scripture that you broke down with, flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone.
Mm-hmm.
Not being able to understand. You in there, you pick up the book and you read and you like, and a Christian read it and they say, no, that's talking about what we just brought out. Eve came from Adam, literally.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you say, no, this is how you interpret
it. Right.
It's because they're still asleep. You know what I'm saying? They're still in. If you think that a talking snake and Eve ate an actual apple from a tree,
mm-hmm.
then you're still asleep. This scripture is speaking to you.
And if I may, to that point you just brought out, if you really believe that a talking snake, what he just said, you have to be asleep for that to actually be any type of reality in your mind. That's one of them deep ass sleeps where the dream feel real because you believe in that nonsense, that it was a literal snake, that the Most High God actually put some sleeping juice on Adam and took a scalpel and then removed a rib and this, that, and the other.
Right.
You understand? But the crazy thing is, if you actually look at the skeletal structure of a man's rib cage versus a woman, why is it that she's missing ribs but the man's not?
Absolutely.
You understand? Y'all know that a woman has less ribs than a man does. So that right there lets you know that's nonsense. You sleep. You need to wake the hell up from your stupidity. It's a hell of a dream. Salaki, go ahead.
And if I may just add one last point to that with verse 10, when it said, for the Lord hath poured out upon you the spirit of deep sleep and have closed your eyes. The prophets and your rulers, the seers, have been covered, meaning before we were bringing out this truth, everybody who called himself a prophet, they fall under this category. All of the honorable, the Malcolm X's, the Martin Luther King and the Malcolm X's, anybody that said that you know what I'm saying, divine, or that the Lord or your Christian pastor is not teaching you this truth of the Bible, and they call themselves a prophet, those are the ones that this scripture is bringing out, that you don't have a real prophet unless you in this truth, unless they're breaking down the scripture like this. And this is why, like he said, since 1969, the ISUPK has been not slowly, we've been unveiling and waking people up, giving them that goddamn adrenaline dose to get you up. You understand? Giving you that what they wake people up with?
The smelling sauce.
Smelling sauce. We've been delivering that smell. We've been giving you that smelling sauce. You understand? In these breakdowns, so you can wake up, man.
God.
You understand? Because you didn't have those prophets that you thought you had. You know what I'm saying? The Martin Luther King and them reverends back in the day, them Jeremiah Wrights and all the people that's been around for forever. You understand? The Al Sharptons, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, all of them brothers and whatnot. You understand? They were not prophets.
Right.
Let's get that clear. They were not prophets.
Right.
The work that they did, it still landed you in 2021 and 2022, so being shot down by the police. 2022, you're still loving your oppressor. You understand? And you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, if you're following behind them, you're still covered. You're still in that, and your eyes are still closed. That's why we say we're waking brothers and sisters up, because that sleep is the conscious community use that woke term too loose. You understand?
No, facts.
And we want to let you know.
I agree.
We want to let you know that if you're in the conscious community, you think you know something, or you're a conspiracy theorist, you are not woke. Unless you're in this school, in this body, and you're learning these scriptures and learning who the hell you are, who's your enemy, and how to serve your God. And if you don't know that, then you're still asleep. You understand? Don't use the term "I'm woke" because you think the earth is flat, or you're woke because you think birds are surveillance.
Surveillance.
I was about to watch. I was falling asleep on the video. I was trying to watch that. If you think birds are surveillance technology from the CIA and there's no real birds out here on Earth, then you are not woke.
Right.
You understand? If you think the Earth is flat and you think goddamn what else? What else are they talking about? If you think goddamn the government or whatnot is out to poison the food and do all this other stuff that you read.
Oh, the vaccine?
Yeah, the vaccine. Yeah. What they brought out today.
Which they all need to, they all owe Commander General Yohana an apology for, because we have yet to see any statistics on people being killed from the vaccine. I have yet to turn into a butterfly, mind you. I'm fully vaccinated. I'm still alive. My DNA did not alter. And again, I'm still alive. You understand? Yeah, more on this. I like you.
No. That was it. I just want to say, like, this heavy precept to our people, man, and just seeing that sleep is still on the earth until you are tuning into these classes.
Right.
This is why it's highly important that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans come into these classes so that they can truly wake up and be around real prophets, because the Lord has regenerated the prophets to be here on the earth now for you to get this knowledge.
Right.
When Martin Luther King, you know what I'm saying, was marching in Selma and all that garbage, you understand, they wasn't the ones that you thought they was. They wasn't the prophet that was going to deliver you from oppression. They delivered you right into the hands of your enemies, these other nations. That's all I had to say. So,
no, kind of not the water for that input, though. And one thing that I did want to add on too is when you were talking about the preachers, and also that goes along with this verse, because the topic is about how interracial marriage goes against the Bible and the Most High God, right? You understand? Everybody everybody's looking up to, T.D. Jakes and, all the Christian pastors and whatnot, while there's, because they're sitting here laying with these, with men and women of other nations, with your grandmama, your mother, your sister, and your wife. And mind you as well, they probably playing with your kids as well, but yet they continuously get blessed You understand? With with more and more what you think is success, when in reality they're just thieves. But you see the gator shoes and the $2,500 suits that they got on and whatnot, and you think that because he has that white woman, because he deals with white women or he deals with them Asian women, you understand? You think that you should be doing that as well. You understand? These false leaders are leading you into the pits of hell. You understand? And that pit of hell is what you're already in, Black, Hispanic, and Native American, man. You turn on the news, you open a history book, and you just see what's been going on, what's been happening to us for the last doggone 500-600 years. You understand? Because mind you, just like what my shirt says, the true illegal arrived, and what is it, 1492? I mean, that's damn near, we getting close to 600 years from then. You understand? We only got another, 70 years, and we had 600 years of this nonsense of them oppressing us with they lies. You understand? Did you have more to add? All right. Kind of. So, all right. Now we're going to drop that. We're going to go to the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 3. Now, I'm starting off with these verses for a reason, just to kind of slow step and, wake you up for the realization that, we're not supposed to deal in interracial marriages. I'm setting the ground with you just understanding that first and foremost, you have some sort of an understanding of what bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh is. And then also for you to realize that, if you're not in the ISUPK, you're asleep. You understand? And this class is specifically for you to wake the hell up. You understand? So that you don't end up drinking of the same cup of your oppressors. You understand? When Christ returns and you get your head lopped off because you decided not to wake up. You understand? Romans 9:3, Baba Kashab, read it when you got it.
God. The book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 3.
Uh-huh.
For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh.
According to the what?
According to the flesh.
No, according to the spirit.
According to the flesh.
According to our belief.
According to the flesh.
According to the religion in the same church that we all go to.
My kinsmen, according to the flesh.
Now, who wrote this? This is Paul. You understand? This is Paul writing Romans, right? So, for I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh. You understand? Read on, Baba Kashab.
Who are Israelites?
Who are what?
Who are Israelites?
Nah, the whole earth.
Who are Israelites?
Wait, hold on. Time out. John 3:16 said, for God so loved the world.
Who are Israelites?
Oh, the crazy thing is he just explained what that world was just right there. You understand? That world of Israelites, first of all, right? But that kinsman, that flesh, Paul's brethren, just like Christ's brethren, are who?
Who are Israelites.
Go ahead and read on.
To whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law.
Ooh, what? Go ahead.
And the service of God and the promise.
Man. So I can keep going.
Verse 5. Whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Christ came.
Damn. So now, first and foremost, wait. So, do we need more on that? Go ahead and finish. Wrap up that verse, Baba Kashab.
Who is over all? God bless forever.
All right.
Amen.
Hey, man. So be it. Now, there's just so much to unravel from them 3 verses right there. All right. We're going to go back to verse 3. Okay. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh. Man, Paul would rather himself not. He's basically saying he wish he didn't have this burden that his people didn't have this burden. You understand? But at the same time, you got to do what you got to do for the sake of your people. And mind you, his people are not who, say, oh, you know what? I saw what Christ did. I want to follow that too. Even though that I'm an Edomite, even though that I'm a Moabite, even though that I'm anything but an Israelite. No, Christ and Paul taught the same thing that Christ did. Paul upheld the same teachings that Christ taught. You understand? And all of that, all the teachings pertain to only those that were kinsmen according to the flesh, that were bone of his bone, flesh of his flesh. You understand? Now let's go down to verse 4. Who are Israelites? Now it's a like it. All right. A lot of people like to sit here and say, because the New Testament came into play, you basically disregard the Old Testament. The Old Testament, everybody recognizes the fact that in the Old Testament, Most High was only dealing with the Israelites. And then you come into the New Testament, and I feel like Christians only know John 3:16 without the proper context, mind you, as well.
Right.
You understand? Because if you paid attention, if you actually read John 3:16, or actually Salaki, the book of John chapter 3, period, right, you would see that Christ wasn't talking to the masses. He wasn't talking to buku people at the time. He was talking to one brother. It was Nicodemus. You understand? Hold your point, Salaki. You understand? Oh, actually, no. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Salaki.
No, go ahead. You swap.
I was just gonna say with that John 3:16 is just like us right now. We on an open platform for anybody to come into these classes, but we only speaking to blacks, Hispanics, and natives. That's it.
Right. No,
we make that clear. You understand? And we did make it clear before this class. We're gonna make it clear now. This knowledge that we're teaching out this Bible is for all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians.
Okay.
You understand? Throughout the earth, and them only. So this is A and B conversation.
Right.
And every other nation can see their way out. So
facts. All right, so now we're going to continue from that, right? Who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption. Now, this is a list, mind you. Who pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of God and the promises, which lets you know everything that you read in the Bible, from Old Testament to New Testament, any promise, any covenant, any adoption that you read about in the and the glory that you read about from Old Testament to New Testament, from Genesis to Revelation. You understand? Every single page is all for, and what does the beginning of the verse say?
Who are Israelites?
Thank you. You understand? All of it. And mind you, we're going to get more into what the Israelites are supposed to be doing as it pertains to marriages according to the law. But just, we're going to finish breaking this down first. You understand? And now we're going to verse 5. Whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Christ came? Whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh, Christ came? Christ came for the sake of our forefathers' flesh, all the way to, basically us, our fathers. He came for their sake up into us and from our children after. You understand? And when I say our, it's what people again? Who are Israelites.
That's right.
You understand? I pray that you do. All right, we're going to drop that. We're going to go to the book of Genesis, chapter 6, verse 1. Oh, yeah, Baba Kashah. All right. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 6 and verse 1. And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them. verse 2, that the sons of God, now, actually, I'm gonna finish this verse. That the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. Now we're starting to get into the actual topic. You understand? What is the significance of verse 2?
So like you said,
Genesis chapter 6, verse 2, sir. Hey, shalom, little Christ. Officer Hawar, man, it's good to see you. It's good to see you in the class. What is the if you want, you can read that from the top if you like. We started from verse 1.
The book of Genesis, chapter 6, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And it came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and the daughters were born unto them.
Okay.
Verse 2, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose.
What should stand out? What stands out in verse 2? Actually, 1 and 2, really. Go ahead.
Well, it's talking about the earth multiplying, meaning the earth is growing.
Right.
You understand? And also that there was a distinction between a people that was the sons of God and the daughters of men. That there was two different type of people on earth.
Thank you. That was exactly it. That was exactly what I was looking for. You understand? Now, let's drop down to
if I may, while you get that ready,
verse 4.
If I may say something about that. If you a person just now hearing this scripture, right, and you've just seen it, you should really think of this and realize why. Ask yourself, why are they making a distinction and saying the sons of God? And another thing, we have to talk about this a lot. Christianity will take this and say that this is angels having sex with women on the earth.
I was gonna get on it. No. You talk. Go ahead. No, you got it, sir. You got it, sir. Please.
Go ahead.
I insist.
Go ahead.
You have the floor.
And speak on that, Salakia, because this is your class. I'm just adding a little.
I insist, sir.
But if this is not the most wickedest, sickest thing, now why in the hell would an angel need to have sex as an angel of God?
Right.
What would be the point of them? And you got so many books, the book of Enoch, and they talk about, they get into this and get it. This is why we don't divvy away from the Bible when it comes to learning the script. Now, we read books that talk about history, you understand? Obviously, there's not going to be a book on the history of this, you understand? Because the Bible is the only book that you're going to find the creation story, the beginning of the earth, right? Mm-hmm. But then when you get into later years, yes, there is history books on civilizations. However, these books, that the book of Enoch, the book of Jubilee, and all these garbage books that people want to bring up and quote from, they get into this stuff and they create stories, and it just creates confusion. And this is where the Christian church loves to, you understand, say that the sons of God are the angels and that they were having sex with human women, and all of these things, and it just causes confusion, and it adds more magic and mysticism to the Bible, to where if you're a person that's really trying to battle, you know what I'm saying, your lust for white women, mm-hmm. your lust for Asian women or other nations, your lust for anything other than a Black, Hispanic, or Native woman, you understand, you're gonna read this and just be thrilled with it, because it tells stories of, according to the Christian church, of angels sleeping with women, you understand, and all of these things, you understand, which is not the case, you understand. But I'm gonna let you get deeper into it because it's your class. Go ahead. So
no, cut out the water. Okay, so first we're gonna drop down to verse 4 though.
We're gonna skip 3, so
Yeah, Con. We're gonna skip 3.
That's right. Okay.
Go to 4.
The book of Genesis, chapter 6, verse 4.
Uh-huh.
There were giants in the earth in those days.
Right. So now we've already discussed several times that there's a lot to be taught and broken down, especially in Genesis. You understand? When, since we had to explain in verse 2 that those sons of God was not the angels, you understand? The sons of God, mind you, as well. When you understand that if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American, an Israelite that the Bible speaks of, you are a son or daughter of the Most High. You understand? Now, we understand that it's not angels for verse 2. Now, for verse 4, these giants is not a literal giant that you be seeing on doggone
Jack and the Beanstalk.
Yeah, Jack and the Beanstalk, or what is it called in the Nordic mythology? Mind you, mythology, the Nephilim giants. I always have a hard time pronouncing that crap.
On Game of Thrones, like on
them
Game
ice
of
giants,
Thrones,
whatever, what have you. It is not that. What a giant is in the Bible, who could be considered a giant biblically? Solomon. Solomon is a biblical giant, because who doesn't know King Solomon? In fact, King David as well, because how many different people or nations stole this symbol, this shield of David? Not just the fake Jews not just the fake Jews in Israel, but also the Arabics stole the seal of, they call it the seal of Solomon, when this is actually the shield of David. You understand? For just a quick little lesson on the shield of David, this right here without the swords, you understand? Without the swords is Da inverted. You understand? For David, his name is Dawadah in Hebrew. You understand? It's just Da that is inverted. And so for those of y'all that know anything about the kings of old, whenever they would send a letter out or put a stamp of approval on whatever, right? They always had a ring. You understand? And what they would do is they would take hot wax, they pour it on the envelope or whatever the paper was that needed to be sealed, and then they take that ring and imprint it in, and now you got that shield of David. You got that insignia that says that the king approved of this. It's basically his own words that was written onto that paper. You understand? It's that simple. It's just, this is what he wore on his hand, and his trustees, that's what they wore on their hand. And quite frankly, we just never let this banner fall. You understand? We never let it die off. This is the tradition that we are always to keep. Why? Because when you go into I believe it's in Matthew, just paraphrasing it, but it says that Yahweh Shai Mashiach in the Hebrew, or in English, Jesus Christ, he's going to sit on whose throne? The seat of David, on David's throne. You understand? He's going to sit on his father's throne. You understand? And that's a breakdown in itself. What we can cover that on another date. You understand? But I just want y'all to understand what a giant actually is biblically. It's just somebody that is great, with great renown. Everybody knows him. You understand? Man, it might actually be a midget. Like, you can consider dude off of the movie we was talking about yesterday. I have Napoleon's one. I don't think legally he's a midget. I think he was actually 5'3". But the dude off of we was talking about the movie yesterday, you and I. Austin Powers, Mini-Me.
Oh yeah.
You can consider him a giant. In a biblical text, he is a giant. Because why? Everybody knows Mini-Me. You understand? Everybody knows that little dwarf, that little midget. And he's only three foot something. That's not nowhere near, I see, sir. That's nowhere near big. But his renown is what his what is the word?
Stature.
Stature is what is giant. You understand? The whole world knows of him because of his works. I ain't do nothing righteous, but you understand what I'm saying. Go ahead, sir.
I was gonna say, it's just think of it as somebody who has power. When you think of giant, like we said, we think of your status. You think of a tycoon, somebody like a Donald Trump. They're a giant in our day. It's like the ISUPK. We're going against the royal family, Donald Trump, the Clintons. You understand? It would be us
the
battling a
world,
giant.
right.
You understand? The Obamas. These people are giants. You understand? Somebody with major status, clout, if you want to say whatever. We can use terms of this day. That's what a giant is talking about in the Bible. And once again, this is slang. This is written by Black people. You understand? So they're using terms that's not gonna be, a cut and dry where you're like, oh, a giant. If you read it nowadays, all right, it's like the New York Giants.
Right. I was gonna bring that up too. Right.
The New York Giant football team. They're not saying they're giants because they're taller than everybody. You know what I'm saying? They're saying they're giants because they're better than you.
Right,
you know
exactly. The purpose of the name was they're supposed to be giant in renown, a great team.
Countenance.
Right,
you know exactly. Their countenance is giant.
Right.
They're gonna, you're small to them. You're nothing. You understand? That's what you want to look at. Giants. And that's all I have to say.
Let's go ahead and read that from the top, verse 4 about Bashar.
There were giants in the earth in those days. And also after that, when the sons of God came in onto the daughters of men.
Now again, see, there's that separation all over again. Why is it that it's going from talking about giants to now we're talking about the sons of God dealing with the daughters of men? That basically just distinguish three different things. But if you are actually learned, you understand, on how to read this content, this text, which really isn't that hard. You understand? I ain't going to college. I'm still trying to go back to college. And I can understand this. You understand? I just had a mighty man. Matter of fact, the one that's reading this for my class today is one of the mighty men that has taught me and still teaching me how to understand this book. You understand?
If I may just
go ahead.
Salaki, we want to make that distinction of sons of God being Adam's children. That's why we brought that out in the beginning, that Adam, the bone of my bone, there was a deep sleep, a separation from Adam and the rest of the nations. So you can look at the daughters of men being the rest of the nations, and Adam. I don't know if you're gonna bring that out, Salaki.
No, I already did, sir.
Okay, if you can bring that out, Salaki, but the sons of God being Adam's offspring, and the daughters of men being the other nations, and that's why the topic is interracial marriage, because you understand these are a separate countenance of people. You have one who the Lord chose, a group of people who the Lord chose at this time from the beginning in Genesis, and you have groups of people that the Lord did not choose. You understand? Nations of people that the Lord did not choose, intermingling in the beginning in Genesis. This is why it's important. And the people that the Lord did not choose were giants.
Right.
Just like now. So the same scenario that's on the earth now, you as a Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian being the sons and daughters of God, and you having the so-called white man, Asian, African, East Indian, Arab, you understand, and whoever else, you understand, not being the sons and daughters of men. You understand? There's a distinction in Genesis in the beginning, and there's a distinction right now on earth. So the point of the class to know that the same thing that was going on in Genesis is right here as well on the earth today.
Con. Let's go ahead and read that. Read that from, and also after that.
And they bear children to them. The same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown.
Now, those men of renown are, so that is the sons of God laying down. No, that's why. That is the sons of God laying with those daughters of men. You understand? And that's where you get, you started getting those mixed race, so-called mixed race babies. Okay. Now, the problem with that was when you have mixed race children, okay, it creates an issue of where they want to hold on to the customs of their mother and intertwine it with the customs of their father. Okay. So right there, that lets you know what was going on. What was intended for the sons of God was for them to be righteous, was them for them to have a pure bloodline with just us dealing with our own people. You understand? Now, because of now because of that interracial marriage, now you're getting these so-called mixed children who are becoming great men of renown. These are those giants that it was talking about in the very first sentence of verse 4. It's those children of God's sons, the sons of God, and the daughters of men. They came together. Now those sons started to become giants of great renown. Now let's see from what I had just said, mind you, with them trying to combine or hold on to the customs of their mother, which is customs of men, and also, trying to please, or not trying to please, but trying to also hold on to the customs of their fathers as well. Let's see what the Most High God has said about that. Go ahead and read verse 5.
And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth.
Was great. The wickedness of man was great in the earth. So like I just said, it's always going to be a child's natural instinct to hold on to a custom of their mother. You understand? I mean, I'll keep it a buck with y'all. That was something that, that was the first demon I had to overcome when I started learning about the truth. Because it's, the big question was, well, what about my moms? Everybody loves their mom. We're all raised to love our mothers. You understand? And there's nothing wrong with loving your mother. You understand? But because of course, what's gonna come next is, okay, so if I'm an Israelite, so what? Like, I can't hold on to any of these traditions. You are making me literally choose between left or right. And now, of course, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, that the Lord saw me fit to be able to even have the option of choosing right. And that's what I did. You understand? But mind you, at this time, that wasn't the case, which is why the Most High said what he said. Go ahead and read on.
And that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually.
Right? So if that child, that giant, is sitting there, trying to keep the customs of his mother's side of the family, man, what are the customs that he's trying to keep? Something that is evil continually, something that is wicked. You understand? Read verse 6.
And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. Now,
that is, if you continue to read on, this is how we come about into Noah's story. You understand? This is why the earth got flooded, because we were sleeping with the daughters of men. Because you, Black, Hispanic, Native American man, the son of God, the princes of the power, you stooped so low to lay down with a beast. You do realize, I pray that y'all realize, that there is no sin greater than the other. So when you decide that you want to lay with have an interracial marriage, have interracial sex, that's just the same as you doing bestiality. You understand? Because mind you as well, earlier in Genesis, we ain't pull it, and we're not going to. You can look it up for yourselves, though, mind you. But how it's Genesis chapter 3, but where it says that the other nations, and I'm paraphrasing it, that the other nations are the beasts of the field, and there was one in particular that was the most subtle of them all. Mind you as well, was it Paul or was it Peter that got the vision with unclean foods?
Yeah.
It was Peter, and Christians love to use that verse for we're allowed to eat whatever we want. So it's Peter. Okay, kind. That was basically the same thing, because again, and we'll do a breakdown on that on a later date. That dream that Peter had with all the unclean foods, when it gets broken down to you, you will be shown and have the understanding that that vision he had was not actually about those unclean animals. Those unclean animals were just a symbol for the other nations. You understand? Like how Russia's, I believe their country's, their national country animal is the bear, right? Well, I mean, that's the representation for Russia, is a bear, a big ass brown bear. You understand? What about America? What is the animal that represents America? The bald eagle. Mind you as well, both these animals, are they lawful to eat? They are not. You understand? So, like I'm saying, that'll be a breakdown for another day, to really get into that portion with like Peter's dream and whatnot. And I'll make it my MO to to get put together a class to break that down, because that is actually a heavy topic that we can do about a breakdown for the dietary law. You understand? But so it's because of this that you are basically having bestiality sex. Think about that. You partake in bestiality. You sleep with animals when you decide to have interracial sex. You understand? When you lay down with the other nations, it's like you might as well lay down with a dog. And we all know goddamn well that the white woman is a dog. Hell, you don't believe me, but you want to believe Christ's words? You know Christ called a white woman a bitch in the Bible. You understand? I believe that's in the book of Mark. Look it up. You understand? Yeah. The white. You understand? All right. So, again, there's a quick little recap. This is why we are not to be having interracial marriages, because the Most High God, the Most High God destroyed the entire goddamn earth, saved 8 people, because we thought the earth thought it was okay for us to intermingle and have interracial marriages. That is literally the point of the story of Noah. You understand? I pray that you do. I pray that you stop going, get off of them dating websites and whatnot and swiping right on them nasty dog ass white women and them funky ass bat eating Asian women. Salakia. If I'm like a Salakia. Y'all really do not understand how much hatred I have for the so-called Asians. I believe that Stop Asian Hate bill was made specifically for me. And I still hate them. That's Salakia. They stink. They're terrible. They hate my people and I hate them. You understand? I see, sir. What they do when they're over there doing pedicures for my woman, and Not knocking it. I just don't like people touching my feet, period. You don't touch my feet, I won't touch your feet. I hate feet. You understand? But what they doing for my brothers and for my sisters, that's exactly what they're going to be doing in the goddamn kingdom. It's not on me. Like I said, don't touch my feet and don't touch me with your feet. All right, go ahead, sir.
No, it's a lot here. Find time to call him.
It's a lot.
It's a lot here. Just, I just want to bring out that. Just keep in mind that the Lord considered this wicked, man.
Right.
You understand? Not only, what the brother brought out was heavy on him destroying the earth, the entire earth, but just it went from them bearing children and intermingling with, once we established that Adam's bloodline mixing with the other nations that were created amongst Adam. Now, let you know, for one, it was not just Adam and Eve. It's the only people on earth. You understand? Because they weren't having sex with children. You understand? They were having sex with people that were their age. They're, around the same time they were.
And if I may interject just real quick, and the Bible is your answer to that stupid ass question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? The goddamn chicken. So, like it, go ahead. So, like, go ahead.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And just to know that was just, the Lord considered that wicked, man. You understand?
Okay.
What they thought they were doing as good old, having fun or whatever. Same thing. You want to look at the Bible as what's going on today. Mm-hmm. You're reading stories from the past that exist today. And if I may, I will pull, there's nothing new under the sun. There's no new thing under the sun. Because the same thing.
Ecclesiastes 1:9.
Yeah. If I may.
No, so like, please pull. It's Ecclesiastes. It's either 1:9 or
if I may.
It's either 9, 10, or 11. I think it's 9 though.
Just if I may, so lock you.
No, and actually, the funny thing is, if I may, with you pulling this, goes like right behind. That's perfect for what we're about to read right after you pull this. So the water for pulling this one, sir. So lock you.
Yeah. So it's perfect. No, this is the one right here. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 9.
Uh-huh.
The thing that hath been is that which shall be.
Mm-hmm.
And that which is done is that which shall be done.
Uh-huh.
And there is no new thing under the sun. And we know that what this scripture is bringing out, man, it's telling you that thing which have been is that which shall be, man. So meaning that lust that you have for white women, it existed in the beginning, in Genesis. And the Lord thought it was wicked in Genesis.
Right.
That lust you have shall be, and it has been. You understand? And that's what this scripture is bringing. There's no new thing, that thing being man. You understand? There is no new thing under the sun, and that thing being man. Because understand this. The reason why we read these scriptures, once again, I said this earlier, is to learn from the mistakes and from the greatness of our forefathers.
Right.
You understand? To learn from the mistakes and the greatness. You take the mistakes of the men. That story is strictly in the Bible for you.
Black,
for you
Hispanic,
to read.
Native,
Black, Hispanic, Native. For you to read and say, well, damn. And listen, I work in the nightlife where every heathen that you possibly can imagine comes into my club and they dress in every horse outfit and they're trying to look their heathen best, you understand, on any given night, and they're ready to seduce a black man, you understand? And as sad as it may be, I watch my brothers You understand? There's my brothers, according to the flesh, right? Fall for these heathen women and can't get enough of them because the Bible said that thing that have been is that which shall be. We just read that the sons of God love the children of women, the daughters of men. So you understand? They love the daughters of men. And that's what goes on to this day. The sons of God, the black men, Hispanic men, Native men, they love the daughters of the heathen nations, man. Our enemies, man. Our oppressors, man. They love them. And you have to understand that this is why we have a duty and a due diligence to uphold Christ's teachings, uphold the law of Moses. You understand? Uphold the Most High and His perfect creation of which He created. You understand? And the lineage of Adam, which He separated on this earth, man. We have a duty to uphold that and not piss off. So like you. For better words, piss off the Most High again and have Him destroy us, man. Because, like the brother brought out, He killed the whole entire earth except for Noah and his family, man. Because the love that you had for your white woman, for your goddamn heathen woman, for the other nations, the wicked ones, man, the ones that's not like you, the ones that didn't have the law, the ones that wasn't Adam's offspring, man. And you need to recognize right now in 2020, He has no problem with destroying you again. And I wanted to bring up, so like, I don't know, what we at on the time check? So like,
2026. 826.
Okay, 826. So I just want to bring out two on that NFL draft, if I may. So like, I'm not going to be long. If I may, in here in Las Vegas, if you don't know what, I don't know the percentages, but I it's over 50% were blacks, Hispanics, or Native. You understand? That was drafted in the NFL. Guess what they women were? They women were white women. Those colleges that they go to are predominantly white colleges. How many HBU colleges had draft picks? Shit. So like if you may, look that up real quick. How many HBCUs players were drafted? Because the majority of these goddamn teams that these brothers came from were predominantly white schools. And best believe I seen a caption of a black man, you understand, with a white woman being drafted, black man being drafted, and a white woman is his girlfriend next to him. But his grandmama and the woman was given a goddamn stare down. Wow. Was given a goddamn stare down. What's their number?
Hold on.
Maybe
let me read the whole thing.
Oh, you can read it.
It says 4 players from historically black colleges and universities were selected in the NFL draft Saturday after not having a player selected last year and only one in 2020.
So understand this.
This
is your Martin Luther King's dream right here. You understand?
Facts.
You ain't got an all-black school where that brother has a high chance of dating a sister, man, of being like Adam and choosing the bone of his bone and flesh of his flesh, man. He's going to Purdue. He's going to Duke. He's going to goddamn Alabama. You understand? He's going to Michigan. He's going to Georgia. These are predominantly white schools. You may know them as black schools because you follow their athletic program and it seems black because those people on that field is black, but that student caucus is white. And that caption that I seen, and Lord willing, we got to make a TikTok. I think I screenshotted it. But that caption was a black man being drafted with his white girlfriend next to him and his goddamn mama or grandma staring her down. And she's staring her down. And they're fighting spiritually for that brother because her big mama didn't approve of that dating relationship. You best believe, you understand? She was not happy to see her grandson or son being chosen by an NFL team about to make millions of dollars, and that white woman about to reap the benefits of that black man, and knowing that if he mess up with this white woman, then she will destroy him. Ask Emmett Till. You understand? Ask goddamn Albert Hainsworth. Ask who else? Shit. Ask Ezekiel Elliott. Ask Kareem Hunt. You understand? These are the brothers that played in football and didn't play football, but had any doings with, and I'm just off the top of my head, that had any doings with a white woman, and it led to either their death or they had to pay a severe price. You understand? So this scripture that we brought it's been done since Genesis. It's happening right here on earth, and it's important that we realize why we're reading the book of God. You understand, the words of God, and we're reading the stories of God's children. You understand, and their mistakes that they've made, and the harm that they brought to themselves. You understand, is because they chose to choose their lust and do what the other nations were doing and do what they wanted them to do, as opposed to what the Most High had laid out. It's happening right now.
If I may, we're gonna move on to the next verse, though. So, like you, we're gonna go to the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 37. And like I said, when he started off with Ecclesiastes, going into Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 9, that was a great scripture to bring out, especially right before we bring out this verse. Go ahead and read it when you got it, Brother Gishad.
Come. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 37. But as the days of Noah were, so shall the coming of
hold on, so slow it down. Read it from the top.
But as the days of Noah.
No, that's Noah.
No, come.
But as the days of Noah were. So at the time of Noah, that's what we just read in Genesis chapter 6, verse 1. 1 through 3, or no, so like we read 1 through 2 and then skipped over to 4 through 5, or 4 through 6, I believe, right? Though at those times, what was going on was, it was a bunch of interracial marriages, it was a bunch of parties. It was basically, it wasn't called Christmas, but it was Christmas parties. It wasn't called Thanksgiving, but it had Thanksgiving parties. It wasn't 4th of July, but they had the day of the 4th of July. Hell, they even had Juneteenth. And how do you know that what I'm saying is true? Scripturally, how do you prove that? What he just brought out in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 9. For what had been will be. What had been done will be done. You understand? In other words, this same thing, this is not the first time that we got bamboozled into celebrating the death and destruction of our own people. You understand? We've done it before several times. Every time that we get put into any sort of circumstance where we are following our oppressors always make some sort of a holiday. We'll just leave it at that. A holiday to celebrate for defeating God's chosen people. Now, mind you, if you think about it, if I may, real quick, you think about it. If you defeated God's chosen people, I don't necessarily blame them for making a high holy day for that. I really don't. Because even though that they are beneath us, every time they get destroyed for our namesake, we make a high holy day for that. So something that they shouldn't be able to defeat in the first place, for them to make a holiday for that, I mean, of course, I don't partake in Thanksgiving or any of those pagan holidays, but I don't blame them for setting it up, because at the end of the day, it's to celebrate the fact that they know that's recognition of we defeated something we should not have defeated. which is why they continue to even make movies of, you know, the white man is always the underdog in every single doggone story, but some way, they're technologically at a disadvantage, numbers disadvantage, strength, speed. What, it don't even matter. Just the whole, when it comes to warfare in every aspect, every check of the box, the white man is the underdog and should just be smothered. But yet, still, some way in their movies, they still end up being on top and winning. You know why they continue that tradition? For those of y'all that are still asleep at this time, it's to throw it in your face that this is what they did to you, Black, Hispanic, and Native American, man. You understand? And at the end of the day, what reverses that, what stops that in the first doggone place, where we will remain undefeated from thenceforth, you understand? We start a whole new season once Christ returns. And from thenceforth, we will be undefeated. And you know what keeps us undefeated? Is the simple fact that we take the non-grievous route and love ourselves instead of loving the other nations. We prefer our own women, our men, Blacks, Hispanic, and Native American men. We prefer our own women. And Black, Hispanic, Native American women prefer their own men. You understand? Right. That's where it all starts, is that we prefer ourselves over the other nations. And simply with just who you decide that you want to bed with. Because mind you as well, scripturally, what Christ has said, mind you, even though that the Christians they in love with New Testament only, Christ said that divorce is done and over with. But mind you as well, what the hell is the divorce rate here in America? If it's not 50%, it's a little bit higher. So half the marriages, if not more, end up in divorce. But I thought you was Christian. I thought you believed in the Bible. I thought that you was a follower of Christ. You understand? This is why it is important for you to wake the hell up and come into the ISUPK and learn this truth about who you really are. You understand? And the reality of this world, this earth, in the first doggone place. Right. You understand? Go ahead, read that from the top and finish that out, Baba Kashai.
Come. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
Who is the Son of Man in this context? Go ahead, sir.
Christ.
This is Christ. When Yahushua Mashiach returns to earth, the Son of Man, and the man being Adam, the what's the word I want to use? The offspring of Adam, the offspring of David, the offspring of Joseph. You understand?
That's right.
Right before he comes back, it's gonna be like it's Noah all over again. And how do you know that we in the end of times today? Mind you as well. Think about this for a good hot second, right? 100 years ago from today, was interracial marriages a thing? Was Salagi, not a thing. Was it something that is normalized? Whether you're in the South, North, East, or West of America, was it something that was normalized? Hell no. You understand? Go 100 years before that. You know what they would do to the women that the slave masters would have sex with our women. They'd end up getting pregnant. You know what they would do to that woman and the baby? Man, they place bets, hang her by her hands up on a tree, just like this. Cut the bottom of her belly so that the baby falls out. Then they would place bets to see who dies first, the baby or the woman. You don't believe me? Look that up.
That was deep.
You don't believe me? Look that up. So, mind you, with that being said, having these interracial marriages, this time of Noah that we're living in right now, this time of what had already been done, that is being done again, that we're in right now, lets you know that we are in the end of times. You understand? And that, so you should think all the way back to the very beginning in Genesis, where you're looking at chapter 6, what does it go? 6, 7, 8, and 9 for Noah, maybe a little bit shorter, Salakia. But up until the end, the beginning and the end of Noah's story, do you want to be on the boat? Do you want to be on the ark? Or do you want to be in that water? Because mind you, this time it's not going to be water. You're going to be on a boat. You're going to be on a ship. If you choose to go Noah's way and be obedient for however long it takes. Noah built that ark for Salakia, sir. Was it 80, 90 years? Was it between 70 and 90 years, correct? Yeah. 70, 90 years he did that work and was given life. Hell, it's his seed that is here on earth. You understand? That continue, hell, the heathen seeds and also the righteous seed. You understand? Mind you, I only said two different things. Because either you are us or you're not. That simple. It's black and white. You understand? You need to choose at the time that you are being awoken. You get unplugged from the matrix. You know, whatever fake ass woke shit that's like fake woke scenario way label that you want to put it. When you awaken out of the slumber that you were in, with whether it's Christianity that had that veil over your face, Muslim, agnosticism, atheism, it don't matter what it is. Once you awake and realize who the hell you are, it's always going to be up to you. Are you going to drown? Or are you going to be on the ship? Our time, it's either are you going to burn or are you going to be on the ship?
Right.
Noah and his family watched everybody drown. Do you want to watch everybody burn? The choice is yours, you understand? And one thing that where it all starts is the preference of your own. Interracial marriages needs to end. It needs to stop. It has to stop for the sake of your own life and our entire nations. Everybody wants Christ to return. Hell, even the heathen thinks he wants him to return. He thinks he does. But for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we all want him to return for the sake of we're tired of being oppressed in Egypt. This is Egypt all over again. Again, going back to Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. We're doing it all over again. You understand? All right, we're going to drop that. We're going to go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 3. Deuteronomy 7 and 3.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his sons, nor his daughter shall not thou take unto thy son.
Like, hold on now. Time out real quick. Okay, I got 2 timeouts remaining. All right. Now, Christians always complain about the fact that the Bible's always allegorical. It's very metaphorical. Nothing is ever straightforward. Where's the metaphor for this? Where is the allegory for this? Where is the non-plain words for you to understand that you are not to have sex with women out of the other nations or with men that are of the other nations? Where's the confusion? You understand? Go ahead.
Look, Salakia, if I may, we got examples of that. Why you shouldn't. Look at Serena Williams.
Serena Williams.
Salakia. If you may, if I may, she done goddamn bleached her whole skin, had plastic surgery, you understand? And that's from her wanting to go against her father's will, King Richard, who they made a movie about, who starred Slap Happy Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? But like, look at these people that's going through these marriages and seeing how it's affecting them. Look at Kanye West from marrying Kim Kardashian, a whore. You understand? A white whore.
Mm-hmm.
Look
Man,
at how he's driven crazy, and how what his wife is doing to him, allowing another man to come in and embarrass him, man.
and if I may, just really quick,
Go
the
ahead.
only reason why Kim Kardashian remains relevant in news is because of the men that she continues to lay with. She became relevant because of Ray J, corny ass Ray J. But then she starts to fall off. Guess who she ends up laying with then?
Another black man.
Another black man. You understand? In time. You understand? And that time is now, which is high time for Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to realize that, God damn it, you are not only the pedestal, but the whole goddamn statue. You are everything that makes this earth as great as it is. You understand? Nothing has greatness without our touch, without our music, without our fashion, without our food, without anything that we do, anything that there is to do on earth. It's because we put hands on it. You understand?
That's right.
The traditions that have ever, any traditions that have ever died off, whether it comes from a language to, how you, a certain way to prepare, cook, season food, a sport, what have you, they died off. Why? Because we weren't doing it.
Ye are the salt of the earth.
Ye are the water. Ye are the salt of the earth. You understand? Read that next verse for me, Baba Kashah. Verse 4, Deuteronomy 7:4, Baba Kashah.
For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy you.
Hold on. Salakia. You're reading too fast, sir. I'm not that intelligent. I'm not that smart. All right. I need to walk through this one. All right. Read that from the top, Baba Kashah.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 4.
Go ahead. For
they will turn away thy son from following me.
Now, thy son, a Black, Hispanic, Native American man's son, Black, Hispanic, Native American man or woman, your son will be turned away from the Most High God. Your children will be turned away from the Most High God's ways. We just broke that down back in Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 and 2 and 4 through 6. You understand? We just broke that down. When you have these interracial marriages, hell, prime example, who can tell me who the prime example of that is?
You said Salaki?
Prime example
of interracial marriage?
Of an interracial marriage.
King Solomon.
King goddamn Solomon. The issue was not that he had buku ribs that every man strives to be like. The problem is that the brother dealt with heathens, and he's the wisest man. He was so doggone wise that he could judge, his people in the best way that needed to be judged. But yet he could judge a nation of his people, but he couldn't make the right judgment. He couldn't have the right wisdom for himself when it came to dealing with these women. Yeah, you understand? And because of that, that's why we went back into destruction and oppression. It wasn't because he had buku women. is because he was dealing with women that made him raise up altars
Right.
to fake ass gods. It's literally like this. You as a father, you as a father or a mother, you have a child, right? And you sit there, you bust your ass at your slavery to make sure that your child can make every football game, soccer game, whatever sport event, whatever school event, prom, homecoming, everything. And yet they still got the audacity to call somebody else dad. They still got the audacity to give props and recognition to somebody else that might have just let them sit at the dinner table for a little bit.
Right.
For a day or two. But as soon as they leave, you know, Jimmy is saying, you know, Sarah, I don't know why you're dealing with that nigger. Right. Why can't you just be with your own? And mind you as well, I'm saying that from experience.
Right.
I'm saying that literally from experience. When I was in high school. You understand? First of all, ungrateful as hell, but then secondly as well, I want to deal with the wrong. And her dad sitting there talking, you know, why you want to deal with that nigger in the first place? You understand? Go ahead.
Hey, if I may, some lock you, because I was watching it today. I was watching a documentary on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You understand? And who was known as Luau Cinder. And it just baffled me how he experienced one of his high school coaches saying that he was playing like a lazy nigger.
Mm.
And he defended him, saying that he wasn't racist, but he just went overboard.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what woman he chose to marry?
A white woman.
And this is a brother that came up in Harlem. And what's crazy is went to the Muslims that where our school was erected in 125th Street in Harlem, New York, 1 West. That block is historical. Understand? For in the 60s,
mm-hmm.
in that time, in the time of Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. You understand? And I seen that in that documentary. He was studying with the Muslims on 125th Street,
mm-hmm.
where our school was erected at. You understand? And it just baffled me how a brother that's seen all of the racism and all of the injustices, sat with the Jim Browns and the Muhammad Ali's and all of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And understand, and still chose to marry a goddamn devil.
Right.
You understand?
Kind.
You cannot take these people serious as leaders of our community because they're sleeping with your enemy.
Right.
Absolutely. And I just had to bring that up because I seen that today and I was tripping off of it because I'm just like, I knew he had a white woman, but I just wanted to see in the documentary how it came about and what he was about. And this is why you don't take entertainers serious as so-called activists or revolutionaries. You understand? Christ was the only was the top revolutionary, you understand, of any generation. And this is why Commander General Yohana and those that follow Commander General Yohana follow Christ, because he was the true revolutionary, like you said earlier, called a white woman a goddamn dog. A Syrophoenician woman. You understand? Greek.
Yeah, I just didn't know how to say the word.
Yeah. Greek. A goddamn dog.
Mm-hmm.
Put them in a place. A beast, like Genesis described these nations, man.
Kind.
And that's all I want to bring out.
No, kind. No, and so with that, let's go ahead and read so will the anger of the Lord, go ahead and read it from there.
So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly.
Now, mind you, when he says destroy you suddenly, don't think that it's going to be boom right there. You getting your punishment for doing whatever wicked act that you have partaken on. You understand? That destruction is being set in place immediately, but you know, in a course of a time, the water, sir. in the course of the time, it's going to overcome and destroy you. There will be it might take an entire 18 months. But the crazy thing is, at that 18-month mark, where you're just like, man, I ain't shit. I lost everything, man. Like I was this and that and the other. I had this, that, and the other. You'll be able to look back and say, you know where it all started? When I messed with this white girl. When I did this, that, or the other. That's where it all started. You understand? Now we're going to get one more verse and then we're going to get up out of here. We're going to drop that, go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 6 and 16. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 6 and 16. I think this is an excellent verse for us to end on. We will next week, Salakia, for missing last week. I got into slavery and whatnot. Next Tuesday, though, we'll hit up the last portion of this right before we go into the new topic for Tuesday. So I will be finishing up this breakdown. You understand? And get a whole lot more into interracial marriages. And the sister is correct. The sister Shamaya said they like everything we made, but not us. Man,
right.
Yeah, everybody want to be a nigga until it's time to be a goddamn nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I may, just real quick, like when I was in high school, I took great offense to the word wigger because at first I thought wigger was a word that pertained to people like me, where you just a bright skinned ass nigger. That's what I thought it was. Then obviously over time I learned that it was wannabe white boys, or it was white boys trying to be a nigga.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Took huge offense to that. And the crazy thing is, and a big major reason why I took offense to that, that they would call them a wigger, is because when it actually took time for them to, get cuffed alongside with all the rest of us, it was always the white boy. His little gay ass nickname was Grizz. His name was Grizzly. Every time we got in trouble, Grizzly went home. Every single time. So wait, hold on now. I thought you was a nigga. I thought you was a ride or die for your niggas. I thought you was one of us. You understand? Just a quick, it's a like you. Let's go ahead and read that.
It's 6 and 13.
It's 6 and 16, sir. So like
the book of Jeremiah, chapter 6, verse 16. Mm-hmm. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths.
Ask in the old paths. So first and foremost, the Most High God is saying this. You understand? The Most High God is saying, stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old paths. You understand? You ask in the old paths. Ask in the old ways. Go ahead.
Where is the good way?
Where is the good way? You ain't saying, well, what the Christians, modern day Christians and people like to say, the Bible is outdated. We got to update this. We got to update that. Well, this is all outlived. Mind you as well, you goofy ass. I want to say so many different words, man. You goofy. You goofy as hell because you in biblical days right now. Right. The Bible hasn't been closed. The book of life is not closed, which is why we're still out there on these goddamn street corners having these classes to wake up our brothers and sisters from the slumber that they are in so that they don't get caught, they don't get closed off from the book of life.
Right.
Do you understand? Go ahead and read on.
And walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls.
And walk therein. So not only should you ask in the old ways, in other words, find out about the law. Get your nose in the book of Numbers, in the book of Exodus, the book of Deuteronomy, the book of Leviticus. Find out the ways of, even Genesis as well, because Genesis is a prime example with like what we've been going over tonight, right, as to why we should not partake in interracial marriages. Look into the ways of old, the old ways that got us in trouble and the old ways that kept us righteous and had us in the shadow of the Most High God's protection. You understand? Where's the good way? So not only seek that good way, but also walk it though.
That's
When
right.
it tells you to quit eating pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, when it tells you to stop being a homosexual, when it
Right.
tells you to stop hating your brother,
That's right.
stop hating your sister. You understand? Stop killing your own goddamn people.
Right.
Quit being these degenerates that these goddamn heathens label you as just because they raised you up in degeneracy. It's not your fault, Black, Hispanic, and Native American.
That's right.
It's only your fault to stay in it.
That's right.
You understand? Learn about yourself so that these things can stop and you can actually walk that path.
That's
You
right.
understand? Go ahead and read on. Oh, and ye shall find rest. You read that, right?
Come.
And ye shall find rest for your souls. Man, that burden that you have in this goddamn oppression that we live in America, in the UK, in the four corners of the earth, you will find peace.
That's
Because at
right.
the end of the day, you'll realize, you know what, the Lord's got me.
Right.
I don't need to worry about this nonsense. You know what? I just lost my slavery. I just lost this job. I know I got rent due tomorrow, but guess what? Man, I got brothers and sisters I can lay on.
That's right.
So I can lean on them. I can lean on them for support. I know I said it wrong. Shut up. Salakia. You understand? Go ahead and read on.
But they said, we will not walk therein.
But we said we will not walk therein. And is that not what's going on today? What the officer had brought out earlier, where our own at the very beginning of the class, where our people just love to stay in the lie and just in the system that we are in because we think that we are free. We think that we're not under oppression. We think that we are equal. We think that we are living the dream that Martin Luther King Jr. has set out for us. But it's all just a burning house of destruction that you are walking into the longer you stay asleep. You understand? You are sleepwalking into that house of burning. You understand? Because quite frankly, that house that you want to associate with, which is all the, just think of it a big ass hotel. You understand? It's a big ass hotel where all the nations they live in, because mind you, they are a confederate against you. They are all staying together, just like how they are all will be destroyed and punished together. When you decide to stay asleep, you are deciding to go check in that hotel and burn with all of them when them goddamn nuclear bombs go off when Christ returns. Right. You understand? And with that, I am Preaching Officer 500 on Rock. This is the Las Vegas ISUPK Brotherhood Tuesday class. We will have a part 3 next Tuesday. And with that, shalom.